Okay, so let's get into this. I think we've all been there. You're in a room, someone turns to you, smiles, and asks that classic question. So tell me about yourself.
And your mind just goes completely blank. It's this bizarre paradox, right? It's probably the most common question in any social situation, a new job, a party, anything.
Anything, yeah.
But it just triggers this, I don't know, this information overload. You have an entire life to draw from, but suddenly you can barely remember your own name.
Exactly. Or you just default to something really dry, like a list of bullet points from your resume, and you completely miss the chance to, actually connect with the person.
Right.
And that's why this is such a great topic for a deep dive. The source we looked at was, it was this really well-structured conversation that just meticulously breaks down all the categories for a good personal introduction.
Yeah, and our mission here is basically to give you a map, a kind of blueprint, so that the next time you hear that question, you're not panicking, you're actually prepared with a compelling story.
We're moving beyond just the facts.
Exactly. It's not about what to say, but how you structure it so that it starts a real conversation.
Turning that moment of dread into, an opportunity. And the starting point is, of course, the absolute basics. You can't really skip these. Name, where you're from, and what you do.
Those are the anchors, the who and the what. And our source gives us two perfect examples to follow this structure. A guy named Paul and a woman named Emily.
Let's start right there then with identity and location. It establishes Paul is from Canada, Emily is from the United States. Simple. Geographic context.
But what I love about the source is how fast it moves from that abstract idea of a country to something really concrete, which is where they live now. This is where the flavor comes in.
Right. And you get this immediate, really interesting contrast. Paul lives in a small town. He makes a point of saying it's quiet. He has a house, even a garden.
And Emily's the total opposite. She's in a big city. It's busy, it's noisy, and she lives in a small apartment.
Out of all those details, which one do you think gives the quickest read on who they are?
Oh, it has to be the living situation. 100%. It tells you so much about their values almost instantly. Paul, with the quiet garden, he clearly values space, maybe stability.
Peace and quiet.
Peace and quiet. And Emily, in the noisy city apartment, she probably values action, convenience, being close to, I don't know, culture.
Yeah, it sets the whole stage. We've gone from, I'm from Canada to, I prefer gardening over the hustle and bustle in like 2 sentences.
And that's the perfect transition into the next big piece of adult identity, which is, work and study.
This is where a lot of people just stop. They just say their job title and that's it. But here we learn Paul is an English teacher and Emily is an art student.
But they add a little more. Paul says he loves his job, and Emily says she studies art because she finds it fun and creative.
Right. And then you get the ages. Paul's 28, Emily's 25. That's just standard info. Yeah. But the deep insight is that little modifier, the why.
Yes. You have to include the why. Saying you're an English teacher is one thing. Saying you love being an English teacher, that projects passion, energy.
And for Emily, saying art is fun and creative tells you about her motivation, not just her major. And that combination in itself, a teacher and a learner, that's useful context if you're in a classroom or something.
It is. It's smart. The title is the what, but that little extra detail is the why. And that's the difference between, I guess, a resume and an actual introduction.
Okay, so after work and study, the next logical step is to get a bit more personal. Let's talk about family and pets. It's a great way to shift from your public life to your private life without getting, too intense right away.
For sure. And family structure gives you these instant clues about someone's background. So Emily has an older brother, Tom, who is 29.
And Paul has a younger sister, Sarah, who's also a student. She studies music, plays the piano.
Then we get to the parents, and this is where you really see those values we talked about earlier getting reinforced. Mm-hmm. Emily's mom is a teacher for little children, which is such a nurturing job.
And her dad's a chef who cooks delicious food. So you get this feeling of like domestic comfort and quality.
Yeah. And then Paul's parents are, well, they're in these highly creative and professional fields. His mother is a writer. He says it's amazing. And his father's a doctor.
See, the point isn't to memorize the jobs. The takeaway for you listening is to see how these details paint a picture. Paul's background suggests intellectual curiosity, maybe some professional rigor.
And Emily's leans more into nurturing, education, that kind of domestic creativity. You don't have to list all your relatives, just the key people who shaped your world.
And then my favorite personality shortcut, pets. This is probably the lowest stakes, highest return detail you can possibly share.
Ah, the classic divide.
The dog person versus the cat person.
Paul is the dog person. He has Max, who's brown, very friendly and very funny.
And Emily is the cat person. Her cat is Luna, black and white,
Yeah.
very quiet and very sleepy.
But here's a great little detail from the source. It's about the language she uses. Emily calls her cat elegant and independent.
That says everything. It's not really about the cat anymore. It's a projection of what Emily values. If you call your pet independent, you probably value your own autonomy too.
Absolutely. The words you choose reveal what you want from companionship. Do you want that constant funny attention like Max the dog?
Or do you prefer that quiet, elegant independence that Emily sees in Luna?
And that idea of independence is a perfect bridge into what I think is the most fun part of any introduction. Hobbies and preferences, the things that make you, you.
Let's start with food. It's universal. It's an easy way to find common ground.
Or a playful disagreement.
Right. So they both like pasta, which is, safe, common ground, but their pizza choices differ. Paul likes vegetable. Emily likes pepperoni.
And their dislikes are great. Paul dislikes olives, which I get it. Olives are very polarizing.
They really are. And Emily dislikes spicy food. Now, that tells you something about her palate, maybe even her aversion to risk in a tiny way. Dislikes draw a boundary.
That's a great point. It's not just what you like, it's what you actively avoid. And you see the same kind of personality hints in their favorite colors. Paul likes blue calm, like the sky.
And Emily likes green. She connects it to nature, trees, grass. It's subtle, but Paul's choice kind of fits with his quiet, small-town vibe.
And Emily suggests an appreciation for the natural world, even though she's stuck in a busy city. And their favorite animals just confirm what we already know from their pets. Dogs are loyal and friendly for Paul.
Cats are elegant and independent for Emily. It's consistent. That consistency builds a really clear picture.
So let's go a bit deeper on hobbies. This is where you give someone a hook, something they can ask you about later.
So Emily, the art student, surprise, surprise, lists painting as her main hobby. She does it every weekend to relax, and she reads adventure stories. Again, notice the why. Painting helps her relax.
Paul, on the other hand, is a bit more active. He listens to music, specifically old rock. He plays soccer with friends on Saturdays, and he loves watching movies, especially comedies and animated ones.
Old rock and Saturday soccer, you immediately get a picture of someone who's, social and active, but also appreciates simple, fun stuff. It's a very approachable profile.
And going back to what you said about dislikes, the source uses these little annoyances to add so much personality.
Yeah.
Paul can't stand waiting in long lines.
So relatable, it hints at impatience, or maybe just that he values efficiency.
And my absolute favorite is Emily's. Her defining dislike is that she is not a morning person. She loves to sleep.
That is just so humanizing. Everyone knows that feeling. It immediately makes her seem less like a list of facts and more like a real person.
It's like a friendly confession.
Okay, so let's recap. We have covered this huge list. Name, origin, where you live, age, job, family, pets, favorite things like food and color, hobbies, and even dislikes. That's a lot of information.
Which brings us to the most important tip of all, the so what. You should never, ever just dump all of that information on someone at once.
Oh, absolutely not. That would just overwhelm them. They wouldn't remember any of it.
Right. The key insight is that the question is the prompt, but the context is what shapes your answer. You have to tailor it.
Think of this whole list as your personal database. You just pull out the relevant files for the situation if you're in a class.
You stick to the basics. Hi, I'm Emily. I'm an art student, and I love drawing because it lets me be creative. You're highlighting your focus and your motivation.
But if she's at a party, she would probably skip the school stuff completely and jump right to the personality markers.
Yeah, she'd say something like, Hi, I'm Emily. I'm a total cat person. My cat Luna is incredibly elegant, and I am definitely not a morning person.
That's a much more relaxed answer. It's more personal. And it's so much more likely to start a real conversation. Someone's going to immediately say, oh, me too, mornings are the worst.
And that's it. That's the difference between delivering a report and issuing an invitation. When Paul says he loves old rock music, someone can jump in and ask, oh yeah, what's the best concert you've ever been to?
And suddenly it's not a monologue anymore. It's a conversation. It completely reframes the whole thing. The tell me about yourself question isn't a test you have to pass.
No, it's an opportunity. It's an invitation to share maybe 2 or 3 of the most memorable, conversation-friendly facts about yourself.
And it's those specific details that stick with people. I mean, nobody's going to remember that Paul is 28.
But they will absolutely remember that he hates olives and plays soccer on Saturdays.
So the final thought from all of this, I think, is that how you say it matters just as much as what you say. Beyond the facts, beyond the hobbies, the real key is to just keep it simple, keep it friendly, and remember to smile.
That positive energy is universal.
Yeah.
It makes people want to get to know the person behind the cool facts.
We really hope this breakdown gives you, our listener, a clear strategy to start practicing your own personal story. Whether you identify more with Paul's quiet stability or Emily's creative energy.
And we want to leave you with a question to think about, one that comes from the source material. If you had to pick just one specific detail from this whole list, not your name or your job, but one little thing, like your hatred of long lines, your love for vegetable pizza, or your mom being a writer, what one detail best represents you and why?
Take that answer, polish it, and have it ready as your one-sentence go-to for the next time someone asks. It's fun, it's specific, and it immediately starts things off on the right foot.
Stay strategic, keep practicing, and we'll be back soon with another deep dive.
Goodbye for now.